Hi, I'm Juanita and welcome back to the Knit Guru. Now there's been a lot of talk about Temu recently and I've been one way and the other with Temu for quite a while. So what I thought I'd do today is just explain to you what I do use Temu for now that I've been using Temu for about a year. This would be my fourth order, I'd say, and why I recommend doing these things. Mostly Temu safety eyes for crochet and knitting. They're really good value. This is just a few dollars, whereas if you go into a craft store, you're going to pay a few dollars either for a pair, or if it's a really good craft store, or a few dollars even for just a small set of maybe 5 pairs of eyes. That's the cheapest I've sort of found them over here in rural New Zealand, is about 5 sets of safety eyes for about $2.50, $3. Whereas here I've got an entire container of the anime eyes and their little backings in a little container for just a few dollars. So that I recommend Temu for, because they're all coming from the same place anyway. The other thing I recommend Temu for is for stocking up on supplies. Now my school has a knitting and crochet group. We could go and buy really expensive needles, but we know that they're going to be given a hard time. We know that they're going to be lost or broken or misplaced, because these things happen. If we get cheap ones, then that risk and worry is gone. So what I've ordered here for the school knitting and crochet group is several sets of these crochet hooks. They're relatively ergonomic. They've got the flat side as well as the curved side. They're all plastic, so there's no metal bits, but they're quite a good plastic in that the actual hooks aren't too pointed. I haven't found any sort of imperfections in them, so they pull through the yarn really cleanly. The next thing I've got for them is a whole set of bamboo knitting needles. Now bamboo knitting needles are recommended for beginners in some cases because there's a texture to the needle. It makes it easier to hold, particularly if you don't know what you're doing. Because there's a bit of a texture to it as well, your stitches are less likely to slide off. When I've been teaching people to knit in the past, I quite like using shorter needles because people tend to be knitting a smaller thing in their first task. They're not knitting a big jumper for a giant man, for instance. So the long needles are less necessary. These wooden bamboo needles, these are the 25 centimeter ones. These I find to be quite perfect. And for about $10 on Temu, you get all the sizes, all paired up together. So this is kind of unbeatable, because the next cheapest place I found these in New Zealand is around about $5, $6 a single pair, which is handy if I want them all to be the same size. But I know that we're going to be working from donated yarn, and this way if the kids take them home, it's only a couple of dollars worth of investment and it's fine. It's going to set them up with a skill for life, and I don't really care if these needles exist beyond the semester, if that makes sense. I did also get the longer needles from Temu. These were slightly more expensive, but what they are, she says trying to pull them out of the bag, these are metal needles, but they've got the coloured coating on them. They're longer, they're going to last a little bit longer, they're going to be able to handle the heavier chunky yarn a little bit more easily for those who are slightly more experienced. So this way, what the school knitting and crochet group has got is a whole bunch of knitting needles for what I would normally be able to get maybe 2 to 3 pairs of needles for this entire price. So what do I recommend Temu for? When you're buying in bulk for either a youth group or a school group or a craft group, or someone who's just learning, these are a really good starting point, because if they get lost or broken or damaged, it's not the end of the world. And once you know that you like this length or bamboo or whatever, you can move up and buy the expensive like driftwood needles, or you can get the Knit Pro Zing, which I prefer to knit with, in the metal ones, and know that you've got a quality needle that's going to last you, but also you're not going to waste a lot of money buying things that you're not necessarily going to use a lot of in the long run. So that's my view on what you should get from Temu and what I use Temu for at this point. I'll catch you next week. Bye.